Hey everyone, this is Zoe Foster, Life Energy Alchemist, and I'm really pleased to welcome you today to my energy shift for the coming month of March through April. So we've just stepped into the spring equinox. If you listen carefully, you can hear the birds chirping behind me, and it's really lovely out here. It's a little bit grey, but it's so nice. And there's a train as well just going past. And we've also just moved into a full moon as well. So every month at the full moon, I'm bringing you now these new bite-sized yet powerful energy shifts for you to practice. So this is not an astrological forecast. I love those just as much as the next person, but this is really about you bringing your power, really owning your energies and bringing that, growing that, expanding that, to add to yourself, obviously, your life, but also the world as well. So taking responsibility for your energies and the energies that you bring to the world. And we're going to do that just through some, like I said, some simple, powerful practices to help you really embody and expand into your own energized brilliance in your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual self on an everyday basis. So this is not about being manic or hyper or kind of, jumping up and down all the time unless that's your natural state. This is about finding your emotional bandwidth, if you like. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. So how we process our emotions has such a huge impact upon our energies as a whole. I'm sure you can relate to that just on a day-to-day level. And this month here, moving into the spring, into the new higher energies, this is a perfect time to really be addressing that. Winter is, when we're cocooning, we're resetting ourselves and all of our energies, and coming into the spring we're growing again with the rest of nature. So on this topic of emotions, I'd just like you to consider for yourself how you approach your everyday emotions. We can be so quick to judge, for example, our emotions as they come up as either good or bad, and as a result we have, our days become categorized into either being good or bad. And, you can just think about how you ask people, how was their day? Did you have a good day? What did you ask your kids? Did they have a good day? What was good about it? Or maybe what was bad about it? What happened that kind of upset them? And think about how people typically respond as well. So what do people say to you when you ask them about their day? Is it automatically, oh, well, this happened and then this happened and it was just so, I'm just so glad that the day's over? Or are they non-committal? It was okay, yeah, whatever. That's very telling as well. And I think that this is particularly the topic I want to be looking at today. So I want you to learn how to, another train. I want you to really learn how to grow your emotional bandwidth. You can think about our emotions, our possible emotional scale, almost in terms of the scale of electromagnetic frequencies. Okay, so we typically perceive through our senses 1% of electromagnetic frequencies. 1%. So, we can't see infrared or UV, for example. Can't see radio frequencies. We can hear them though. or we can hear the output if we tune into them with special equipment, but we can't directly access them through our senses. And I think that's one of the most incredibly magical things about us. You know, we operate on our senses and what we can perceive as our reality. That's our kind of ground, you know, for ourselves. And yet there's 99% of what we can't perceive is still in existence. It's still out there. So when it comes to emotional bandwidth, I think that we typically end up doing something quite similar, is that we reduce what we feel on a daily basis according to how we feel that we can cope in terms of our kind of sensory everyday lives. So, for example, it's the afternoon here in the UK, and I'd like you just to consider for yourself, what emotions have you felt so far today? Can you label them? Can you just kind of get a sense of them? Or even where they are on the scale? So right from the lowest, which is our survival-based emotions, you know, our roots in terms of appetite, in terms of lust, in terms of connection with people, you know, belonging, part of the tribe. These are all of our survival-based emotions. And typically we kind of go around on a treadmill on these throughout our day and our week, because this is what our subconscious programming, our primal brain, requires of us. We are required to exist. We are required to stay alive. We are required to procreate. We are required to make sure that we eat and drink and, you know, have that connection with others so that we can look after each other. And you can probably think to yourself that all of these things, your relationships, your relationship with food and money and providing for yourself and for your family, putting a roof over your head, this is the kind of stuff that we get caught up in. We get so caught up in on a day-to-day basis, almost like a little hamster wheel, that we forget these are just the roots. This is just the roots of our existence, and there is a higher emotional bandwidth. So much more is available to us than this. So if you think of yourself as a tree, for example, a beautiful tree. A tree has roots that go down, deep down into the earth for food and water, and to communicate with other trees as well. And this is what it's doing to allow growth, to allow healing. And yet, look up and 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 up, and keep going up and up and up. Are you allowing yourself to take your awareness up, away from the roots, away from the survival in your life, into the growth and the healing and the repair and the possibilities? Are you allowing that part of your emotional bandwidth? So this is something I just want you to consider for yourself today. Take a moment and really be honest about this, because it's so easy to say, well, that's all very well, you know, but we've still got to pay the bills and we've still got to kind of, you know, deal with my child having a tantrum, or, you know, whatever it is from moment to moment for you. But the reality is our brain can be conditioned. So 75% or so of our habits are subconscious. But we can rewire some of that subconscious programming through our conscious brain. And of course we can do this through meditation, through yogic exercises, because it uses our nervous system, it uses our brainwaves, it alters our brainwaves, and it signals directly to all of the other brains in our body to change, to change in those subtle ways. So here come practices. And if you want any help with these as well, by the way, or any clarification about why we're doing this, what we're doing, how we're even going to go about it, then please hop on into our Facebook group, which is called Elevate and Expand, and I'll pop the link below. And this group I've set up absolutely intentionally for this purpose of support and community, and to help you really grow these practices and commit to them for yourself, for your community and your loved ones, and for the world at large. So the first practice we're going to have a look at is dialing into your emotions as they are. So again, this allows you to really be honest, maybe even a little vulnerable, and just notice for yourself what you're feeling. Take some time, some intentional time to do this away from distractions. It could be 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be much. It could be 2 minutes. You could be sitting in the car waiting to pick up your kids from school, and you just need to close your eyes and tune in. And at first you might not be able to really connect with very much. It might be very confusing. You might have a general feeling of nah, good or bad, or just a bit flat. But persist with it. Dial right in. And if it helps for you, take your hand and place it on the parts of your body, starting right down on your pubic bone. And again, just closing your eyes so that you can take that attention inwards. And begin to sense into those different parts of you. So just slowly moving up the body from the pubic bone, sensing behind the hand, like a big balloon inflating. Sensing the energy in that entire area for yourself. Does it feel stuck? Does it feel stagnant? Does it feel restricted or tight? Perhaps your ego, your part of you that wants to look out for you, actually doesn't allow you to take your awareness there because it's something you're not ready to deal with. But be honest with yourself. Be compassionate. This is not a time for judgment or criticism or guilt or shame. Be really compassionate with yourself. Take that loving awareness to each part of you. Take it to your sacral center, the lower belly. Take it to the solar plexus. And keep moving up through the centers, the heart, the throat, right in the center here, between the third eye and the back of the head. And then finally also right up above the head, about 16 inches, right into your magnetic field. And sensing into all of these areas, where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel spaciousness? Where do you feel fear or doubt? Where do you feel not very much at all? Maybe it just feels really grey. And you can take your senses and find something that really resonates for you. So whether it's a shape or a colour, it might be a particular word that's not emotional, that's not an emotional label. And then write these down for yourself. And this starts off the process of tuning into the kinds of feelings that you're allowing and that you're exhibiting for yourself on a daily basis. And you can compare and contrast that with the emotions that you would like to feel on a more regular basis. The next practice is to release. So we've dialed in, we've started to identify what emotions are coming up for us. And emotions are not meant to get stuck. Emotions are energy in motion. They're meant to move through the body. So typically disease of any kind, illness of any kind, is that energy that has got stuck somewhere in the body. And again, typically this comes back to our survival based emotions, so down in the lower energy centers. When we look to release, we want to do this in a very safe, again, loving and compassionate way. You might feel that this is something you want to do on your own, or you might feel that you want to have somebody there, maybe just even in another room in case, because this can be very powerful. And all we're going to do today is a very, 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 very entry level, simple practice just to get you started. But even so, if you're not used to this kind of work, it can be scary, it can throw you, and it might bring up other stuff for you. Of course, if you have trauma in your past, if there are things you're not ready to face, this is also an opportunity for you to find a really good therapist. So as much as we can start to take control for ourselves, which I absolutely believe, it is also extremely beneficial to get someone on your side who is trained in a holistic way to look at trauma and how these things, how these memories have been repressed or suppressed in your body and how they might be manifesting in different ways. So just bearing that in mind. As you move through the awareness of your energy centers, feeling into those different parts of you, I'd like you to intentionally move your breath. So you can do this very simply, just sitting upright with your feet placed flat on the floor, or you can sit cross-legged if you're used to it. Making sure that you have that spaciousness through the length of the spine, so you're not hunched over, You're not collapsed through the chest, and you have an openness in the belly. And then as you take your awareness through each energy center, intentionally breathe into it. So all we're doing here is creating that intentional spaciousness. We're beginning to grow that energetic and physical space in each of those parts of us. So for example, taking it right to your root center. Taking that breath on the inhale all the way down to your roots, allowing it to fill up and expand out, and then deflating gradually on the exhale. But as you keep inhaling into that center, visualizing each breath beginning to open up that center with love and light. You can imagine a bright, cleansing white light, or something softer if you prefer. I like to imagine a golden light, because we are all infinite beings of golden light. So taking that light and allowing it to expand and radiate into each center. And this brings coherence into our body, into our energies, into our mind, and into our integrated wholeness. So simply by doing this, we are releasing, we are beginning to set in motion that release for ourselves. It's not a powerful expelling, it's an opening, a gentle opening, flowering if you like, and radiating. So we've dialed in, we've released, and now we're going to recenter. So really allowing the whole body to come back into balance. Allowing our stress hormones to calm down, to bring our nervous system back into that parasympathetic mode of repairing and healing and growing, and to bring our brain waves out of beta into theta, or maybe alpha, into an alpha state, a more relaxed, coherent state. And this again allows the body, through direct contact between, so when we allow our brain to go into those different states, so I should explain, we're regularly in beta. Our brain is in a kind of beta state when we're awake, when we're alert, when we're doing stuff. When we're beginning to kind of chill out, maybe even beginning to fall asleep, and commonly in meditation we move into an alpha state, and possibly even theta, so that you can imagine the brain waves just slowing right down, becoming really smooth and chilled. And this also brings our brain down from the conscious mind slowly down into the subconscious. So what this allows us to do is begin to work directly on that subconscious programming. So when we are in our conscious state, in our beta state, kind of all over the place and thinking all the time, this we can think about changing. We can have the will to change, we can have that intention, that conscious intention, and yet it's not communicating with our subconscious mind. So when we start to move through meditation and relaxation and visualization into those different brain states, and shifting the nervous system into that relaxed, receptive state. This is when we start to change our subconscious programming. This is when we can literally signal to switch on new genes for ourselves, new healthy genes. We tell the body how to heal itself. We tell the body how to be joyful, how to be grateful on a more regular basis. And this is the power of meditation. So it's not just sitting there closing your eyes and twiddling your thumbs. There is power and magic behind it. So take those 5 minutes. Allow the thoughts that are buzzing around your head just to take a holiday without attaching to them. They can be there, they can be buzzing around a little bit. Just allow yourself to detach. Notice when there's resistance. Notice when you feel that you can't let go of something. And just be curious about that. Wonder, I wonder why that is. Without going down the rabbit hole. And then watch. Without grasping, without pushing yourself. Just watch your body, your mind, and your spirit begin to recenter. Begin to come back into that holistic coherence. And if you want to take it a step further, visualize that light that you've grown in each of your energy centers. Visualize it radiating beyond each of those centers out into a whole, radiating from your entire body out into the world. And take that awareness beyond your body, right out, as far as you can. Take it further and further away from the physical, into the energetic. And take time. Don't be in a rush to come back from it. This takes practice. And then see what comes of it. I would love to hear your experiences, your struggles, your questions, your feedback. Come on into the group, which is Elevate and Expand. And again, I'll pop the link below. And I can't wait to hear from you. This has been Zoe Foster, Life Energy Alchemist, coming to you from the lovely Devon countryside. At this springtime full moon. Much love from me to you. Bye.